creative process is everything. The creative process is entrepreneurship. Like, you have to try things and see what works and then double down on those things. People talk about trusting the process, and it is hard to trust the process when we haven't achieved the thing that we want to achieve. But we know that if we trust the process, we will figure it out, because that is life.
This is Work in Progress. I'm your host, Gail Calvert. And yes, I'm a work in progress. Today's guest is someone who has made it her mission to help people and organizations dream bigger, work happier, and actually become the best versions of themselves. Kate Volman is the CEO of Floyd Consulting, where she leads a team dedicated to building thriving workplace cultures through coaching, training, and the highly acclaimed Dream Manager program. She's also a best-selling author of Do What You Love, a guide to living your creative life without leaving your job, a book that has inspired countless professionals to embrace their creativity without waiting for someday. Before stepping into her role as CEO, Kate built her career helping businesses and communities grow. She founded her own boutique agency, and if that's not enough, she also is the host of Create for No Reason podcast, where she encourages people to pursue creativity for the simple joy of it. At her core, Kate believes work should be engaging, joyful, and filled with possibility, and she's living proof of that mission every single day. You can see it in her smile as we're having this conversation. So get ready to be inspired, because Kate has an incredible way of making you believe not only that your dreams matter, but that you can actually achieve them. During our conversation, I even discovered a few of my creative passions that I didn't even realize I had. So Kate, thank you so much for being here, and let's get into it. Super, super excited for this conversation, Kate. And I do think what you do is timely no matter when we have this conversation. I'm excited to learn for myself and for our viewers how to bring more joy into what it is that we're doing. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Gail. And thank you for the work that you're doing, because you're constantly inviting people on to have these conversations to support people.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into first your mission, right? To really help people live more joyful lives. When you think about helping people live more joyful lives, why do you think that so many people are struggling with that, especially at work?
Well, we see it in the work that I do. It's interesting how many people are, as you said, stressed, right? We have a lot on our plate. I would assume that many of your listeners are very type A driven, going after big things. And as we're going after these big things in order to live a fulfilling life, we sometimes forget about the play and the joy of it all, because we become so focused on productivity and maxing out our time. And we hear all of these sound bites, or we listen to podcasts that are talking about how to get the most out of your day and be productive. And we almost go so far in that direction that we glorify and glamorize that. Like, people glamorize busy, right? Like, ask somebody how they're doing, and what do most people say? Oh, I'm so busy. I'm so busy.
100%.
And then on the other side, you find some people that they're living with more joy and more passion, and those people have things in common. Those people, they recognize that leisure is an essential part of life. They recognize that taking time to play the guitar, go in your garden, go do yoga, do these things that we often put aside because we have to work and get everything done. When we make time for those things, other areas of our lives become more fulfilled. We have more energy. We have more excitement and enthusiasm for the work that we do, because we allowed ourselves that time to spend on doing something that we really loved. Those things are just as important.
When I think about this, I assume that a portion of the population is really good at this and making sure that they're bringing joy into some part of their life. And then there's the rest of us, I'm definitely in the other category, that are like just always moving to the next thing that we have to do. How do you go from me over here to somebody who actually, because I don't even know what that joy would be, if I'm honest.
Oh, interesting.
I'm the test case here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that I find that interesting. In fact, it's funny because after my book was published and I had people reach out to me, I had some people that said, I love this idea, I love this concept, but I don't even know what my passions are. I don't even know what I would do that would provide joy in my life. And Gail, I was surprised because there are so many things that I'm like, oh, here, take some of mine. Like I have so many passions. I have so many other projects that I really enjoy working on. And so I didn't realize that that was also a challenge. Now, we know the outcome of work. Like it makes us feel comfortable because so many of us, we've been taught to work really hard and we go to work and we spend so much time at work. And so we're just used to it. It's comfortable. It's crazy to say, but actually taking time to do something just for the joy of it, it feels almost stressful. So we will sometimes think, oh, well, if I spend some time just taking a dance class or doing something that is not pushing my dream forward, it's not worth it, or it's not enhancing my life in some way. And so it becomes this mental shift, this mindset. You know, I work with a lot of CEOs, we work with a lot of leaders, and they have the same challenge you do. It's a challenge to take that time. And so first, we have to recognize where we are. Then we have to say, okay, it's time for a change. Like, I want to make a change. I want to try to incorporate this into my life. Now, some people, they talk about it as like the Sabbath, right? On Sunday, they're going to take that time. Whatever that looks like for you, even if you can't take a whole day, sometimes it's just, okay, so you don't want to take a whole day for yourself? Great. What can you do? Can you do an hour? Can you do 2 hours a week? What would it look like? Like, what activity brings you a lot of joy? And when you start talking to someone about it, then something pops up, right? Like, what did you used to love doing when you were a kid? What can you do that you kind of get lost in? I was talking to a guy the other day. He was talking about how much he loves music, and he got in his back room and took out a guitar. He's like, I never play this, and I used to love playing guitar. And so it's like playing the guitar or going and painting or taking a pottery class or something that just gets you out of your head and into your more creative space. And what's cool is when you push yourself to try something new, like go try jujitsu, go take a walk, just do something that you normally wouldn't do, and it's going to spark something inside of you. And then it might lead to other passions, to other things that you wouldn't have been introduced to. That's something I find interesting too, is once you start getting into, like when I started getting into poetry, I started finding all these communities of people that loved poetry and studied poetry. And then there's all these poetry workshops. And 4 years ago, I had no idea all these things existed. And now I'm like, wow, there's this whole community of people that spend time just writing poetry and talking about poetry. And they're not poets for a living, but they love the art and craft of it. And so they spend time doing that. And I guarantee that spending time in poetry is enhancing their work life. It's helping them become better communicators. It's helping them notice the world around them in a different way. That is one of the outcomes of doing something just for the fun of it.
Right. Okay. You're inspiring me. I'm going to do something here.
We have to figure out, Gail, that this is like a time for you to, what is this going to look like for you? Like when you think, what activity did you used to love to do that you got lost in? Even if it's something so random, like I love doing puzzles or coloring.
I love dancing. Like, you know, the little girl who was taking like the jazz or hip hop or whatever that was, right? The tap about like literally as little as 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Not something that obviously I would do professionally, but like we're talking about, my whole life is focused on like what I need to do to either achieve at work, take care of my family. I do really love to relax, Kate, but I feel that I need scheduled relaxation. I can't be the only one that thinks that, right? But I'm like, okay, if I've scheduled it, then I'm allowed to actually relax. But hobbies is something that I always felt was something I would maybe look into when I was like retiring, or maybe I was like, oh, I'll just weave that in later, like when my kids are older. But you're inspiring me. So anything from like music to dancing, and like I'd love to get into better shape, and I would love to take like a dance type workout class. I'm totally mortified at the idea of going and looking like a jackass, but you're going to tell me to do it anyway.
Well, look, you can even see your shift when you were talking about dance and even throwing in like, I'm not going to do this for a living. Of course, you're not going to turn into like a professional dancer now, but because the work you're doing, you do enjoy. And I think when people say hobbies, it's literally a joyful activity. Like it's something you do for the fun of it. I have a podcast called Create for No Reason. And the whole idea is create for no reason, but there is a reason. It brings you joy. Create for the fun of it. And dancing, a form of dancing, you're creating. And so what would it look like, Gail, if you put down on your calendar, take that dance class, like to actually pay for the dance class, show up for it. And even if in your brain, what do you think would happen? How do you think you would feel when you get out of that dance class?
Definitely more energized and happier. I know that this is something I should do, Kate. Okay.
So there you go.
Okay.
It's time to do
I'll
it.
do this. I'll do this. Okay. But talk to me. I'm so curious about this, like create for no reason. So you've got this podcast. Obviously, everybody can go listen to it. But what do you find through those conversations? What are people creating? There are people in all kinds of different lifestyles, jobs, places that they live. Like, can you just share with us some of what that looks like for others like me who might have no idea what they want to create or do for fun?
This is the perfect example, right? It's like, we know what we should do, right? Like, we know that we should make time for leisure. Now, I am not saying I'm good at it. We can be accountability partners sometimes. I am not great at it. And so we do have to intentionally make time for it. Like that is part of the problem, right? Like if we don't, then we'll just continue to work and work and work. And so there is this mental shift that we have to make. And this, when we're talking about it, right? Like we have to always be speaking in a way of like, we know it's beneficial. We have to like trick our brains into like believing that. But the conversations that I have on the show they are so great because I could talk about the creative process all day long. And the creative process it's everything, right? Like I love talking about the writing process. I love talking about comedians and how do they come up with jokes and they get on stage and they share and they have to figure out the best way to convey a message and make people laugh. And the creative process is everything. And the creative process is entrepreneurship. Like you have to try things and see what works and then double down on those things. And we were just mentioning the episode with Dr. Rob Bell before we hopped on this call. And he talks all about mental toughness. And one of the things we talked about with him was he's written 8 books. I'm like, how do you write 8 books? Like that is a challenge. Like it's hard to write one great book. And now you've written all these books. So we talked about the writing process, what that looks like. And what I always find interesting is that everyone has shared experiences, but they're just kind of these nuances that are different. So the shared experience of the creative process is it's messy. It is messy to figure all of this stuff out. Even as you're talking about with your life, like this is messy, right? Like you have a family, you have kids, you're going through lots of stuff, you're building a business, you have to figure, and now you're like, and now I'm going to add dance class to my mix. This is too much. Like, but we have to be comfortable that it's messy. That's the constant. It's like, we just have to understand like, hey, it's a process. You know, people talk about trusting the process, and it is hard to trust the process when we haven't achieved the thing that we want to achieve. But we know that if we trust the process, we will figure it out because that is life. I mean, the conversations is all around the process of it all, whether it's someone who's podcasting, writing a book, or creating a Substack or something in the creative space. That's the heart of the conversation.
You said something that I want to pull out. You said you don't have to be good at it. And that struck a chord with me, and I think a lot of people probably. And then you came back to it again when you said the process can be messy. I think that that's really important. When you think about, especially like high achievers, like I only do things that I know I'm going to be really good at. I'm not going to lie. I mean, how many people volunteer to take on things that they think they're going to suck at, right? Well, dancing, that, you know, I love working out, which I would love to do more of, but both have something in common. I'm not particularly good at either, and I'm going to look like a jackass, like I said. So I love how you're talking about remembering that this isn't something you need to be good at, and the whole process can be messy, and to give yourself permission, almost like, because I know what would happen if we hadn't had this conversation. I would go, say, take some like workout dance class, right? And I would be like, oh my God, I'm horrible. Can't even keep up. I don't know what's going on. And then maybe never go back. But having to remember, like, you don't have to slay it the first time. I mean, what does that look like? What happens when somebody's like, well, I tried it and yeah, it's just not for me. I'm going to go back to the way I was doing things before.
Not only do you not have to slay it the first time, you never have to slay it. Who's to say that you can't be in a dance class for years and years and you still aren't great at it, but man, you love it. And you show up and it's one of your favorite times of the week. It brings you so much joy and you dance around, and who cares if someone in the corner is like, why does she even come here? She's not even getting better. You're not doing it for that. Like, that's not even the point. Sometimes people ask me, well, should I continue doing my podcast? I don't really know if I should. And so it just comes back to like, well, why are you doing it? Do you love it? Do you enjoy it? They're like, yeah, I really love these conversations, but like, I don't know if I have like a lot of listeners. Okay, but you love it. It's something that you make the time to do. You enjoy the conversations. It brings joy to your life. You're meeting new people and new experiences. And so why not? Now, if the goal of your podcast is to like build your business and it's not working and now it's becoming a frustrating thing, then great, don't do it. We have to just get honest with ourselves of like, what are we creating for the fun of it? And what are we doing for our business? Like, especially with when I talk to people about like, if their creative project is to support their business, that's a different conversation. I have a friend of mine, he takes pottery class every week and it's adorable. He's like the only guy in there and it's like all these older women and he loves it. And he'll send me a picture of what he created and it's fine. Like he'll send me something like, I don't know, is this a cup? Is it a mug? Is it a bowl? I don't know. But it doesn't matter because he loves it. And I love him for doing it every week because it's just a creative outlet for him.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is community too. Going back to poetry, I mean, I started writing poetry, and if you would have told me I was going to be sharing my poetry anytime soon, I would have laughed at you because I'm not a particularly incredible poet by any means, but man, I have fun writing those poems. And because I have so much fun, I start sharing them every now and then. And I just do that for the fun of it too. And because why not? And so I'm getting better at the process and it just doesn't really matter what anyone says about the work. Like even if I want to share it, like I'm just sharing it for the fun of it. That's really all that matters.
Right, right. Yeah, so I love the pottery class. Like, what is that exactly that you're creating? But you're loving it. You make it whatever it is. I've taken pottery classes. It is so difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, quick aside, like another thing that I think is funny is being funny. And so I practice stand-up comedy bits with
Which
my
is
kids.
so great.
They don't think I'm that funny, but I'm like, hey, guys, I have this bit. They're like, what do you think? It's a really good one. Okay, so just like throw some fun in anytime. You could do that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We're doing a lot of talking about classes and things that people need to sign up for. What about just like bringing some joy in wherever you can find it?
Oh my gosh. You know, when my nephews and niece were much younger, you know, they're getting older, so now it's not cool anymore. But when I used to go over there, I would love, one of my favorite things to do is just go into the house and scream, dance party. And I would just take them into the room. We would just dance. Like we just dance. How many of us, maybe you're cooking and you're just like dancing around your kitchen or like all of that when I think about creating, that is creating. Like even.
Okay, well, I do that, Kate. Sorry, I had to cut you off because I have dance parties by myself all the time.
See? So you probably do more joyful things than you think, but here you go, because you are a type A. So you're like, did I do it? Can I check it off? Is it right? Like, did I make it? Like, this is what we do instead of just
yeah.
Okay, so you do have, see, that's what I'm saying. Everyone has their creative pursuits. Everyone has something. Not everyone thinks they're creative, but you are creative in your own unique way. Even if it's that doing stand-up in front of your kids or making these jokes or like, it's the way that you even parent. It's like writing little notes to your kids and putting them into your lunchbox. Like those are little moments of you creating.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, we talk a lot on this show about doing less instead of more, which I love. Literally had not thought about that in an intentional way before I started Work in Progress. And now it comes into so many conversations on so many different topics. So I want your perspective from your experience and on this topic. How have you seen people start to do less? How can you help people who maybe are saying, you know what? Yeah, I am just continuing to add to my plate, and I need to start doing less.
Yeah, this one, I think for some, it's really redefining their definition of success and what success looks like. again, just going back to what we've been talking about, so many people feel like I have to do more, be more, become more, just always in this constant state of rushing, going. And when we take some time to really focus on what matters most in our lives, it's much easier to let go of the things that don't matter. We place a lot of emphasis on things that really don't matter, but because we've been doing them for so long, we keep them on our to-do list. A lot of people don't want to say no to things. We have to be very clear on our priority. Some speakers, they get to this level of, they know that to them, it's no longer important for them to be on hundreds of stages every year. What's more important is being with their family. And so it's easy for them to say no to even a really cool stage that they could be on because their priority is family and not traveling. And so I think we have to be very clear on what that looks like and be comfortable with kind of FOMO, like fear of missing out, right? Like, I think that's a big thing that we deal with is we want to say yes to things. We want to always add more to our plates because we feel like that means we're going to have more opportunities and always see more. But it's those that are very discerning of what they spend their time on. Those people, you can even see it in how much more peaceful and calm they are. And I think you really have to be disciplined in order to do that so that when something does come your way, you don't immediately feel like, okay, I'm going to put it on the list. I have to do it. I always quote that book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. He asks a question in that book, what is the one thing that by which doing will make everything else easier or unnecessary? And I love that question because in our businesses, when we feel like we need to do more, be more, always be adding new marketing things to the mix, well, hold on. What is the one thing that we can do that's going to make things easier or unnecessary? And when we define that and we figure out what that is, oh my gosh, we have so many things that we can take off our plate and not try to have to do anymore.
I have a couple of thoughts that came up when you were talking about that. One is, how do you step away and look at your life and all that you're doing and decide what really matters? Sometimes it's much more nuanced than, I want to spend time with my family and travel versus speaking around the country, right? Those to me feel like difficult decisions, but not as subtle. I'm running a business. I have 2 podcasts. I have 3 kids who are teenagers, right? There is a lot going on. And I have started to think, Kate, what could I be doing even in my businesses? Like, should I be streamlining, simplifying, or downsizing in certain ways? I speak to a lot of business leaders who say, you know what? No, I don't always want to grow and grow and grow. I have this goal that's X. And sometimes you actually need to downscale or downsize to achieve those goals. So what I'm trying to get to is, what are you seeing out there that helps people in practice figure out what is it that they're doing that actually brings them joy or actually is providing for their family, and therefore you should do those things, and these other things maybe can go.
We do a lot of dream coaching, right? Dream manager coaching, which is a life coaching program. So we're working with a lot of people that they've got big dreams. First of all, we encourage them. We help them create their list of 100 dreams. That's a lot of dreams. And then we have to figure out, okay, well, you're not going to do all of these at once. That would be impossible. So let's figure out which ones are most important to you now. They pick from their list, they pick 1 to 2 one-year dreams. And then they pick maybe a 3 to 5 year dream. And then they pick a 5+ year dream. And this is very intentional because we can't do everything, right? But what's great about having those more short-term dreams and then medium and then that 5+ year dream is it's going to help you make the decisions. That 5-year dream you're going to keep in mind when you're making those decisions every year. But that 1-year dream is really keeping you in some of that nuance that you were talking about, right? Now you're saying, okay, these are my main dreams. These are the dreams I really want to achieve. And the CEOs we work with, they come to us to build their business. 9 out of 10 times, one of the things we're focused on with them is their relationship with their spouse, their kids, their time spent in doing something that brings them joy, because they're not good at that. They've been really good at business and strategy and growing and team building and all of these things. And they haven't been good at that. The past 2 years, I have been so excited to see that many of our clients, one of their top dreams is to have a better relationship with their spouse and their family and their kids. And so they had to become intentional about that. So it's easy to say no to that project or to that opportunity that you get invited to because you now have date night every Wednesday with your spouse. You've made it a priority. This isn't a nicety. This isn't a if we get to it. This is the priority. And so I think it's important for people to really recognize and go through. This is why we have to be strategic about our lives, right? You have a strategic plan in your business. Do you have a strategic personal plan? And what does that look like? In business, when you create a strategic plan, what that plan does is it helps everyone on the team when they get stressed out and they don't know what to focus on and they feel like they have so many things going on. That's when they have to go back to the plan to look at, oh, okay, let me get back on track. This is what I need to do. Same thing with a personal strategic plan. Then it makes it easier for you to make those decisions. But it starts with, what are your dreams? What is the dream that you have for your life this year? What does that look like? And then when you put that stake in the ground, you have to know that this is what I'm working towards. And so with our clients, like we see this every day. I mean, especially when it comes, I would say the top dreams that we see, which would be not surprising to most people. One is to be financially free. People want to get better with their finances. Two, healthy, fit, lose weight, like look better, feel better. Like that's always like in one of the top. Buying a home is typically up there as well. And then the relationship with their spouse. So those are very high on the list of people. People have had to make big shifts in their life to fit that wanting to get more fit. They have to wake up a little earlier. They have to make time to get to the gym, to go for a walk or to do the things that they want to do. And so they actually go through, like we talked about the mess, they have to go through the messy middle to get there. And then it's being held accountable. Like who's holding you accountable? And unfortunately, we don't hold ourselves accountable often enough, which is why coaches exist. We hire coaches mostly because they hold us accountable. They push us, they challenge us, they help us see the blind spots that we don't see. And then they're the ones that we have to show up to. I can't tell you how many clients will jump on a call and they'll say, okay, I just did my workout like last night and I made myself, I was so tired, but I knew we had our session in the morning and I didn't want to come and tell you that I didn't do it. Otherwise they wouldn't have done it. So it's crazy how we don't want to disappoint other people, yet we will disappoint ourselves or not show up for ourselves constantly. My heart fills up when someone who had a 1-year dream that they've talked about for years and years, and they accomplish it in 6 months. I was working with a client, he had a dream of writing a book forever, but that's a lot of discipline and time to sit and write. He talked about it for 5 years. Within a year of us working together, he had published his first book, and then a year later, he published his second book. He finally said, okay, I'm ready to finally make this happen.
Well, and what you said, a personal strategic plan. I wrote that down when you said it. You much more eloquently captured what my question really was trying to get to, is that when we're kids and when we're students, we're never really taught how to create our own personal strategic plan. And that's why I think coaches are so important. I have had coaches at different times in my life that have been fantastic. Like you said, they're keep you accountable, but also have that ability to be objective, right? And ask you the questions that you need to answer for yourself to come up with your plan. So as a coach and doing this for a really long time with tons of different, clients and coaches, what do you think makes a good coach? First, we want everybody to work with you, but for listeners, right, who are looking for a coach, I think that's also a concern. Like, I'm going to invest that money. What should people look for to make sure that that coach is the right one for them?
Yeah, great coaches they ask really great, thought-provoking questions. We do two things, right? We want to encourage you, but we hold you accountable. We're not afraid to give you that tough love. I've had some friends of mine say, my coach isn't hard enough on me. When you're an A person and you want to make big things happen, you actually do want someone to be tough on you. You want somebody that's going to ask you the questions that you might not be asking yourself. And one of my favorites is, what do you know that you're pretending not to know? I think so many of us are just not being honest with ourselves. And like so many people will talk about how they want something. I want to achieve this. I want to do this. But do you really? You say you want to, but you're not willing to take the steps necessary in order to do the thing. And then what do you really want? Like that is such a simple question, but we get so caught up in our day-to-day lives of busyness and frustration, and I have to go here and I have to do this, and we don't even go to that question first. And so when we identify what that looks like, we're able to really uncover some truths that people know deep down, but they just are not saying out loud. A lot of times they don't even know that they're doing it. It's so easy to give someone else advice when you hear what's going on in their life. And yet it's so hard for us to give ourselves advice. My coach will sometimes ask me a question and I'll laugh because I'm like, duh, I should have known this. But we need that person that so clearly sees our challenge or clearly sees our situation in a way that we are just missing because we are in the middle of it. It's like, what do they say? You can't read the ingredients from inside the jar. I always think about that because we're just too in it. And a great coach, they're not giving you answers. And when we're coaching our coaches, because we certify dream managers, we have to remind people, no, we're here to ask great questions, to help them discover the answer and the solution and figure out what's the best right path for them. We're not here to say to them, this is what you should do, or I think this is what you should do. It doesn't matter, like the direction that you choose doesn't impact the coach. The coach is there to make sure that you are becoming the best version of yourself. And so if there's any coaches that are giving you advice or telling you which direction to take, then I would pause.
I love that. I'm thinking right now about all the people that have impacted my life in a positive way, whether it was a therapist, a coach, a boss, right? 100%, all really tough but fair. So you are learning all the time because if somebody's not tough, they just sort of skate by, right?
Yeah.
All right, before we wrap up, Kate, we like to have a little fun here on Work in Progress. I ask everybody the same questions. When you're going to spark your creative juices, what is your song? Do you have a song, like a hype song, a happy song? What's on your playlist when you need to get your creative juices flowing?
Oh my gosh, I have so many songs. Well, for me, I definitely go out and walk. Like that is what I do. I go and I take a walk 100%. But songs, honestly, it depends on the day and when you ask me. I will tell you right now, I didn't even know this, but Rob Thomas just came out with a new album, apparently. I didn't even know that he was like still out and about and around. So I'm like very excited. But yeah, it's like, it's very different. Like it depends on who I'm into. Like I get really into like one specific song and I'll listen to it like over and over for 100%
a while. On repeat. Okay, what's the song that's on repeat for you right now, Kate? We have a Work in Progress playlist on Spotify. We have to add a song.
Do you
so what
really?
Do you want
I'm so embarrassed for what I'm gonna say because the first one that popped into my head is that song that everyone's like obsessed with, that from that little cartoon show. It's called Golden.
Oh wait, is this? I'm gonna embarrass myself trying to figure it out. Is this like K-pop or what is this?
When I tell you this song is like it's like everywhere, everyone's loving it. And I was like, what is this? And then I see that it's on Netflix and I didn't watch it, but I asked my sister, I said, so my niece, I was like, does Catherine watch this K-pop? And she's like, watch it. She's watched it like 30 times. It's so annoying. And so here I am in my house and I'm like, Alexa, play Golden. And I'm just dancing
you know that's
around.
already on the playlist. Somebody else recommended it. So see, you're not the only one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what? I will say I really love Rob Thomas's song Pieces. You can add that to the playlist. I really like him as an artist. He reminds me of my college days. But
also, I'm totally Kate. I'm like, we're clearly the same age-ish because this is like the 90s, right? Yeah, I got
I
you.
loved him.
Okay, this sounds like not a big deal, but people are really opinionated on this question. Are you coffee or tea?
That's so funny that but I know people are like, they really get into it. So I do coffee, but I only do decaf.
Okay.
I can only do decaf. I can't do the
That's
caffeine.
Cool. How do you take your decaf coffee? Hot, cold? Do you add flavors? What's your jam?
I do. If I go out and get a coffee, it's usually a decaf Americano with 2 stevia.
That's your fave. I love it.
If anyone
We have
wants
a
to buy me a
compilation.
coffee.
Compilation. Yeah. And people are either like, hell no, only tea, or vice versa, or whatever it is. I have a friend who said no coffee or tea and only water.
I tried to be a tea person. I really did. I bought like the little teacups and like I bought the loose leaf tea and I was getting all into it. And I tried and I just couldn't I do like it. There's a place, they closed down, but there was this tea place in Delray Beach. I'm in South Florida. It was so delicious, so good. And it was loose leaf tea. It was amazing. But I have never had that good of tea again after they closed down.
You're like an aspirational tea drinker.
Yes.
You like aspire to be a tea aficionado.
Maybe one day I will.
One day you put this on your 5-year dream list.
Yes.
To be a tea connoisseur.
I'll be hosting tea parties, Gail, and you're invited.
Very good. I will be having tequila parties, Kate. I will come to you for tea, but I will host tequila.
Oh my gosh.
Well, this has been really, really fun. Thank you so much for all the great advice. I'm excited to take my dance classes.
Yay.
And, maybe I'll do some improv comedy, Kate, because I'm just aspiring to be a stand-up comedian at my dining room table, literally, not ever in real life, but yeah.
That makes me so excited for you. I feel like, and we talked about this when we had our call, the stand-up comedy, I am so impressed with anybody who has the guts to get up and do it. And so I'm here for it.
Oh my God.
Do it.
Okay, you will not be seeing me at like the comedy club or anytime ever. Yeah, no, that's horrifying. How do people do that?
I know, but if you had like an act, hey.
I just have so much respect for comedians. It's funny when we talk about this. I'm like, what brings me joy and how do I get out of my like stress vibe? It's either like dancing, like putting on music always, or I watch stand-up comedy because it's hilarious. Like try to watch stand-up comedy. Like there's something for everyone. You can find a comedian that works with your vibe. It's great.
Yeah.
I highly recommend.
Highly recommend. Going to see a live comedy show is one of the best.
Amazing. Okay, thank you so much. Before we go, tell everybody where they can find you, Kate. Online, where can they find you?
Yes, the easiest place is probably just, I'm online like anyone else. I feel like it's so easy to find everyone. You can go to katevolman.com and then thedreammanager.com if you're interested in learning about the Dream Manager.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you. And we'll have you back. Maybe we'll get some questions from viewers on their own creative passions and how to do more of it, or maybe what's challenging them. Yeah, I love to hear from all of you out there. So let us know what your questions are, and then Kate can come back and answer them. All right. Well, bye for now. I hope that was helpful. If you know someone that you go to for this topic, send them my way. After all, we're just figuring this out together. See you next time.